On today's show, we are going to take more questions on the QB battle between J.J. McCarthy and returning starting quarterback Cade McNamara. Also, Michigan just added a 5-star transfer, the transfer portal, a guy who was really a long time ago. He was a recruit 2018. He hasn't done much of anything over the past 4 years. We'll tell you more about that transfer. Also, the Big Ten lands a massive TV deal, and a lot of it might be to the massive TV power of Michigan football and, in some regards, Ohio State. And then, the end of the show, stick around for it. It is James Yoder's 2022 Michigan football record prediction. All that and more on the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports coming up right now. All right, let's get the season started. I mean, it's Sunday, so if you think about it, we're in college football season, right? It's week 0 because there are games this upcoming weekend. Although Michigan won't play, it's not the official start of college football. There is quite a few games in college football. So I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe if you want more shows. If you like what we do, if you support us, subscribe if you haven't yet, or if you have, you've liked the show over the past 3 football seasons, go ahead and send the link, youtube.com/Michigan TV, to a friend who needs more Wolverines content in their life. We're going to take your questions on today's show, Michigan Football Sunday Mailbag. First question coming in from my guy, Landon Savareed, all right? Good chat. You know, I'll tell you what. Sometimes I say you see a kid who can't throw a baseball, a grown man who can't throw a baseball very well. I say sometimes I said someone should smack that kid's grandfather because it's generational. If you can't throw a baseball and you're a grown man, it means your grandpa did a bad job on your dad or did a bad job on you. Nevertheless, right? Landon chopping it up with his grandpa on Michigan football. I can always appreciate that. They've been arguing the QB situation. He thinks JJ will take over even if the team is dominating with Cade. He thinks Cade will continue to start. I think, you saw the show on Friday. I think Cade's going to start the first game. I think he's probably going to start the second game, the third game. But JJ is going to get the opportunities, right? He'll likely get a series in the first quarter if Michigan has multiple series, or Cade might get the first 2, JJ might get the next 2, a little Henson-Brady kind of thing, first quarter, second quarter. If J.J. McCarthy comes out and is just lighting the world on fire, he will get the chance to start probably by that third or fourth game, and then it's his team as long as things continue to go out there. It's all going to come down to J.J.'s play. We know what we're getting from Cade. He is not going to light it up with 5,000 yards passing. He's not going to throw for 480 and 5 touchdowns, but he's not going to make turnovers. He's actually the emotional leader of Michigan's team. You heard it after the Nebraska game last year, right? I just watched the replay on Big Ten Network a couple days ago. Michigan should have lost that game, right? A couple lucky plays here and there. At the end of the day, Cade McNamara said it best. Past Michigan teams would have lost that game. Leadership of Cade McNamara, some other guys, Aiden Hutchinson, of course, Hassan Haskins, they're gone. Cade's the guy left with leadership, so I think you give him the chance to, keep the job, but he's got to up his play a good percentage because J.J. McCarthy might be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the country. If you are on Team JJ, though, let me see it with the likes, okay? I'll have to look back and see what Friday's video got for likes. But let's just say this. If today's video gets more likes than Friday's, let's just call 400 likes, 300 likes, 500 likes. I'm not sure. I'll have to look back. If it gets more likes than Friday's, we will say this is now a JJ McCarthy audience. Right? You guys are JJ McCarthy, the audience. If it gets less, though, this is Team Cade. You guys are Team Cade. So let's see the likes. If you want JJ to win the job, go ahead and like this video. All right, the betting odds are out. If you haven't seen them yet, Michigan is a 27.5-point favorite. Less than 13 days from now, 57.5 points is the over-under. If you're not familiar, it means that's the combined points of both teams. You can bet if Michigan's going to win by 27.5 points, the over-under. You can bet on a ton of things, right? Michigan's going to win the national championship, if they're going to win the Big Ten, what stats certain guys are going to win, whether or not Michigan's got a Heisman Trophy winner on their roster. I bet on college football and the NFL every year. I've been doing it now our 3rd season with BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use that link so it redirects you to the page. Get a 125% deposit bonus when you sign up and make your first deposit with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. All right, chatsports.com/GoBlue. 125% deposit bonus, the best in the game with BetUS. You put in your first 100, you get an extra 125 there to bet with. You put in 2, extra 250, and up from there, you can put into $500 and get the 125% deposit bonus. I mean, hell, if you're going to bet on games anyways, don't just put in the minimum 100 or anything like that. Put in 2, put in 3, get those bonus dollars because you might not get that sweet of an offer down the line. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Get started and make your first deposit with BetUS. By the way, promo code GoBlue. No spaces. Scott Harris with the next question. He says, Yoder, where are you? Do you need more subs? Right? I guess that means you need more subs. Or maybe he's telling me I need more subs. Look, I I agree. This was my best offseason from a content creation perspective. I'm going to take the L. I'm going to ask you guys to wish me back into your homes, to your living rooms, to your iPhones, to covering up under the sheet with your girlfriends, wives, boyfriends, whatever it is, and listening to your AirPods late at night. I've heard of all that, right? We're not going to take any more breaks, though, right? We're going to have a few videos coming up this week, and then a week from today, we're game week, baby. Every day out throughout the rest of the year, Michigan football report, even night games, right? Even if I go to a game or two, we're going to have a show for you after the game. I'll film from my damn car while I'm driving if I have to, but no more breaks for me until Michigan ends the season with a national championship, of course. Mr. Ordinary VX, he said, regarding Eyabi Anoma, and this was kind of a comment to the post we put on the YouTube community that the transfer from Alabama, Houston, and then UT Martin was coming to Michigan. He says, sounds like he's just trying to turn his whole collegiate career around for a rehab stint in Michigan. He's one of his high school coaches there on staff. This could be a good gamble. So before I give you my opinion, bring you guys up to speed if you haven't followed this story along. This was the number 4 overall player, right? Number 4 overall player, 5-star, and in the 24/7 Rivals ESPN era of recruiting, which is like 20-plus years, he's the 49th highest-rated recruit in history over the past 2 decades, right? 49th highest as far as recruiting rankings. He played in 12 games as a true freshman at Alabama in 2018, right? Dismissed from the team. Sounds like he didn't go to class, right? Straight up, didn't go to class is what all the articles are saying on him. Transferred to Houston, sat out the 2019 season because of transfer rules back then. Then in the spring that year, February, he gets kicked out of Houston for not going to class, right? Transfers to UT Martin and plays there. Didn't actually start, but got 36 tackles, 6 sacks this past season. But somehow, 4 years of college, he's coming over to Michigan as a grad transfer, right? And so since he sat out a year, since the COVID year, yada, yada, he actually has 2 years and is eligible instantly. There actually is a deadline for transfers to come over in the transfer portal for undergrads because, they don't want people doing what I think a lot of us thought might happen is a guy, plays 5 games at one school, quits, transfers to another school mid-season. You can't actually do that. But for grad transfers, that deadline doesn't exist. So he is instantly eligible. Jim Harbaugh is trusting the word of Biff Poggi, right? He's been on Michigan support staff 2 different stints with Jim Harbaugh, went back and coached high school football for a while, came back. He's not an official coach, but he's kind of one of Jim Harbaugh's right-hand man. Blake Corum, a few other players on Michigan's team. They've got like 3 or 4 players from that same high school that they had to vouch to him for Harbaugh, right? They probably, Poggi had to say, look, I will take him under my wing. Blake Corum had to say, look, he's not going to mess around. He's not going to F up, right? They're 2 years apart in high school. So when Anoma was a senior, Corum was a sophomore. So these guys got to be vouching for him because if they were saying, look, this guy is a total jerk, he's going to quit in the team, he's going to cause issues, he's going to be late, he's going to miss class, there's no way Harbaugh would have taken a risk on him. So I think it's an interesting one. Reminds me of Michael Dana a couple years ago, came in from Central Michigan with like the accolades of being like a 3rd-team All-American by some publication. And although I don't think he's going to start, I think he definitely could be Josh Uche's type, right? They bring him in for 12, 15 snaps a game this year and just tell him, go attack the quarterback as fast as you can. And if he does that, maybe starting by the end of the year or is in position to do so next season. So I think all in, low risk, high reward move for Jim Harbaugh. If the guy acts up once, misses class, boom, he's out of there. All right, Mr. Green is the stuff. Obviously not a drug guy at all. He says Michigan usually does better when they start their season with a ranking outside of the top 10. So no, wish they were number 11. This is one of the comments I pulled from the AP poll. I had Michigan ranked number 8. The coaches poll had Michigan ranked number 6. And I'm like, what do you guys think of it? I am shocked and surprised by how many. I put this comment up for a reason because it was emblematic of the majority of people's comments. And I get it. I used to be superstitious about these things too, and then Brady Hoke era hits, and then a couple other seasons here and there hit. I'm like, okay, it really doesn't matter. Alabama's number 1 every year, every other year. They still win national titles. Ohio State, doesn't matter if they're ranked 1, 2, or 7. They're usually 11-1, 12-0. So many Michigan fans think that it's better to be ranked 18th than 8th or 22nd than 5th. I don't understand it. Maybe they're jaded by being ranked 5th again in 2007 against App State. I think the higher you are, the better. It gives Michigan the opportunity, were they to drop a game like they did last year, still have a heck of a good chance to start from a position of strength to get into the college football playoff rather than trying to say, oh, wow, we need 5 losses from these teams ranked ahead of us to get into the CFP if they drop a game. Here's that preseason top 10 from the Associated Press. If you missed it, Michigan 6 in the coaches poll, but that's been out for a couple weeks. Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia get first place votes. That's in parentheses to the right. Clemson, Notre Dame, followed by Texas A&M, Utah, Michigan, Oklahoma, and Baylor. Stay on this for 1 second, though. I want to give just a couple quick thoughts. Number one, how is Clemson ranked 4th? It's almost like the voters just be like, Is Trevor Lawrence still there? I haven't heard anything from him in a while. Okay, interesting. He must be there. Did they not lose their coordinators, the defensive coordinator, both offensive coordinators in the past 2 off seasons? Texas A&M, we really think they're a top 5, top 6 team. Notre Dame's going to get waxed by Ohio State. I think Michigan should be 4th, right? I think the top 4 should be Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, right? In whatever order you want. Alabama, I think, clearly number 1. They've got the best offensive and defensive player in college football on their roster. But I think Clemson, Notre Dame, Utah. What is Utah? I heard someone say, well, why is Utah ranked so high? Did you see they almost beat Ohio State? They scored 40 in Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. And I'm just like, the same Ohio State team that was missing like 2 of the 3 of their best players that Michigan beat by 15 and also scored 40 on just a few weeks prior, 5 weeks prior. So why doesn't Michigan get that credit? They actually beat Ohio State, not had a 47-45 game when Utah was missing like some of their secondary. I don't understand why Michigan is ranked so low. I think they're doing a disservice. Aiden Hutchinson, Hassan Haskins, David Ojabo, I get it, but still a ton of talent, proven talent coming back. I ask you guys this question. Where does Michigan deserve to be ranked? Deserve. Not where you think they should because you want to be ranked lower. Deserve. I think it is it's number 4, okay? I think Michigan should be ranked number 4 because they have most proven commodities coming back in college football, and they beat Ohio State last year. Ohio State's number 2. They've lost good players. Michigan lost good players. Clearly, Cade McNamara is much better than C.J. Stroud, and he might even be Michigan's starting quarterback. So I think Michigan should be ranked number 4. Let me know down in the comments. If you guys didn't see, I tweeted this out a couple days ago, so make sure you follow me at James Yoder on Twitter. The most watched Michigan football programs in all of college football last season. Ohio State led the way, okay? 5.22 million. Alabama and Michigan just behind them. Michigan number 2, 4.7 million. Alabama 4.64. Big drop-off, right? Big-time drop-off. Those 3 schools, if you look back at the last 10 years of college football, every single year, except for I think 1, 2012, Notre Dame was up there. Every single year the last 10 years, other than 1, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, in some order, have been the most watched teams in college football. But look at these poverty schools down there. Oregon, come on, Dante Moore. You want to be watched by no one? Notre Dame? I always thought Notre Dame was a big college football draw. Apparently not, drawing less games than Michigan State. But the Big Ten is 3 of the top 4, and then number 8. So I put this out on our Twitter account, Facebook page. I had this comment come in from Jason Gunn, which got 150 replies on our Facebook page. He said Alabama and Michigan own college football in that order. Bama and Auburn combined just to edge out Michigan and Michigan State. And he's kind of basically saying, like, look, Michigan and Alabama, they've got, he's kind of combining the schools, what I think he means by that. I think the people in the comments took it as Alabama, Michigan, the school. I think he's talking about the states, right? Alabama and Auburn is Alabama. Michigan State is Michigan. People didn't really think that. But with Michigan State being ranked higher in TV ratings than Notre Dame and Oregon, and even schools like Clemson and Florida and Tennessee, right? Michigan State's higher than all those schools. The Big Ten football is now the kings of college football, right? The Big Ten Conference are the kings of college football because they have got so much more money. Just this week, if you didn't see it yet, I want to make sure we share the details. 7-year, $7 billion media rights agreement with Fox, CBS, and NBC. How it's going to shake out is there's going to be the Big Ten's best game every week, starting in 2024, will always be on Fox. Going forward, the big noon kickoff game, 3:30 game on CBS, taking that from the SEC, and then NBC is going to have a primetime Big Ten game every Saturday night. Then there'll be the Big Ten Network will have a couple games, Peacock, and then FS1. So you're going to have a bunch of different places where you might have to watch Michigan football games. Make sure you have your cable and streaming subscriptions down in order by then. But this deal, which gives the teams like $80 or $90 million per year per school, even when you add USC and UCLA, allows 2 things. One, or it gives Michigan 2 things, the Big Ten 2 things. One, gives them the ability to add more schools and get more money proportionally. Number 2, this doesn't even count the millions, tens of millions they get from the Big Ten Network themselves. That's on top of it. Michigan's going to have, in 2 years, unless something happens with the SEC's deal, they're going to be getting twice the money of most of the SEC schools that are competing with them. So I think long term, unless the SEC expands, nationally, they're more of a regional school, I think they have a tough time keeping up with the Big Ten, given the fact that the Big Ten is now a $1 billion per year TV league. Next question coming up from Charles Woodson. A little play on words there. He says, have you given a record prediction yet? Where are you at, Yoder? Give the people more videos. I've disclosed where I've been at. My bad. It won't happen again until next offseason. So I'm going to give you my my Michigan football record prediction here in just a moment. But I want to hear what yours are, folks. Give me your Michigan football record prediction. Let's not speculate here. Let's not say, well, win the Big Ten East, win the Big playoff game 1, playoff game 2. Let's just do the games on the schedule. 12 games. Go down there. Give me a record prediction, what you think Michigan's record will be this season. Go to my record prediction, Charles Wood, son. I am going to go. I'm not going to say which game I think Michigan's going to lose or whatever. I just think that they're not the best, most talented team in the country, so I think they'll slip up. I think it's probably about an even team. The offense gets a lot better. Defense goes down a little bit as last year, so I'm going to match last year's record. Give me 11-1 for this year's Michigan football team. Look, I'd say that loss comes at Columbus, given that Ohio State will be favored, at least as of now, by 2 touchdowns. Michigan hasn't won there in 22 years. But nevertheless, folks, I am excited about everything that this team has coming back. I've got 11-1. If they do that, I think they're going to find themselves in the playoffs, whether they win the Big Ten or not. I think if they lose that game to Ohio State, potentially, which I'm not saying they will, I think both teams have a good chance of making the playoff. All right, stick around. Make sure you keep watching our channel. Turn on notifications, subscribe, because our next video coming up, probably Monday, probably tomorrow, is going to be Michigan football rumors on defense. There are so many juicy rumors on the secondary, safety, Will Johnson, some others. A little position change. You make sure you come back for that. We will see you guys in the next video, and until then, go blue.